Underfoot, The Gutter King, Book 1, Chapter 11, Moonset. The last hour before moonset, the Warren was quiet, the way an emergency department is quiet at 4 in the morning. Everything ready, everyone pretending to rest, every soul in the building listening for the doors. Ben made his rounds because that was what his hands knew how to do with fear. He checked the little kit's lungs. Clearing, Granny Sorrel's pine honey and his flattened peaks winning the long game, and left the old doe his notes on dosing in careful charcoal print she couldn't read and would guard with her life. He checked Rill's shoulder and lost the argument about whether Rill was coming. He checked Harl's ankle and lost that argument too. He checked Nib, who was not wounded, but who needed exactly 90 seconds of being told that guarding the Warren's inner door was a real job. I need it done. The oldest prescription in his book, refilled across 2 worlds. Mara found him at the wall that wasn't. She didn't say be careful or come back or any of the things that spend courage instead of banking it. She put one gray paw flat on his chest, over the ember, only he could see everywhere but there, and said,
"The Warren counts its mender among its walls now. Walls come home."
Then Scab took him to market. Moonset at the rope walk door was a blue-black nothing, the city's last light dying in the grates far above, and the catchers came exactly as bought, the agent with his shuttered lantern, flanked by 4 bucks in oiled leather, with the heavy, certain embers of bronze, men who held things for a living and had never once had to chase what they held. Scab walked Ben in on a rope lead, wrist bound in front. Bound in wire Rill had rigged to shed with one turn, but the agent didn't know that, and Ben let his shoulders carry the whole defeated arithmetic of a sold thing. It wasn't hard. He'd treated enough people on the worst night of their lives to know how the body wears one.
"The scribe tongue,"
The agent said, lifting the lantern to Ben's face.
"small for all the noise you've caused.
He turned the light on Scab.
The dough's at the house. You'll walk with us and take delivery like a good—"
"You'll want to check the hands,"
Scab said. It was the agreed line, the trigger, the last true thing Scab would ever sell them. And the agent, professional to the end, actually did it. Stepped in close, took Ben's bound wrists, turned them palm up to inspect the merchandise, which put his own hands, both of them, exactly where the Warren wanted them. Ben turned his wrist, the wire shed, and the rope walk stood up. Nets came down first. Mooring rope and eel line knotted through purge week by every pair of hands and 2 Warrens, weighted with flagstone chips, dropping out of the dead cordage overhead where no one ever looked. 2 of the bronze bucks went down thrashing like landed catch. The third turned into tusk, which was a thing that happened to him, and then a thing that stopped happening, because a boar spear halved across the temple concluded the discussion. The 4th ran, for the horn at his belt, for the stairs, for the world above, and made it 4 steps before the tunnel's dark parted around something small and fast that had spent 2 weeks learning exactly where everything living kept its seams. Ben took him low, needle first in the tendon behind the knee, down, not dead, and rode him to the stone with a knee in his back while dockside bucks swarmed the netted pair, and it was over. 11 seconds, maybe 12. The plan had allowed for 60 in casualties. The rope walk had spent all week being built into a verdict, and verdicts are fast.
Level up, you are now level 11. Class skill unlocked, Dark's parting, Gutter Stalker. For a breath, the shadow agrees you were never there.
The agent alone still stood, precisely as instructed by the spear point at his throat and the old gray doe holding it. Mara had insisted on this post herself. Some appointments you keep personally,
Inventory.
she said pleasantly to the man who counted her people by the tail.
1 agent, breathing. For now, mender. His pockets.
His pockets held gold, chalk, a bone whistle, and a flat iron token stamped with a tallow drop, the Render House door pass. His ember held the specific bright flutter of a man calculating resale value on his own life.
"You have one thing to sell,"
Ben told him, crouching to eye level, using the bedside voice. The one that had walked 900 families through the worst room of their lives, because it turned out it worked just as well on the men who built such rooms.
"The door, the signal, the count inside. Sell it fast and whole, and you'll be alive and unrendered when the guild finds you netted with your own wire. That's the entire market. It closes when I stand up.
The agent looked into the flat, dark eyes of the small gray thing the paper had called merchandise and did what professionals do. He sold. The cost of the rope walk was one name, and Ben carried it back through the tunnels like a stone in his chest. A dockside buck called Marrow, Harl's sister's son, 20 years old, quick on the nets, had taken a bronze knife through the ribs in the first 3 seconds before the flagstones fell, and no seam Ben's eyes could find was bright enough to hold him. Ben worked anyway. He worked the way he'd worked under a collapsing house in another world, talking, both hands, everything Ott's book in 8 years and 2 lives knew. And the ember went out under his hands anyway, quiet, like a door closing in another room. The dockside bucks carried Marrow home on the nets he'd tied. Harl walked beside him the whole way, one hand on the boy's still shoulder, and at the junction where the lines parted, he stopped Ben with the same hand.
You put yourself on that hook to spare the rest of us.
Harl said. His gravel had gone down to bedrock.
1 for 40, Mender. Marrow knew the trade going in, so do you. Grieve it. But don't you dare carry it alone. That's Warren law, too.
Ben, who had a locked room a whole world away with a 9-year-old's name on it, said nothing and nodded and filed the law where he kept the ones worth keeping. At the Sluicegate Junction, the War Council reconvened around a stolen lantern. 2 Warrens worth of fighters, 1 netted agent gift-wrapped for the guild, 1 iron token, 1 signal phrase. Tallow keeps the light, and 1 hour the agent had sworn before the render house expected its delivery and started asking the night questions.
1 hour?
Mara looked around the circle, at the nets and spears and the boy-shaped absence they were all carrying, and then at Ben, and her clouded eyes were terrible and clear.
The house expects a scribe tongue walked in on his own feet. It's still getting one.
She turned the iron token over in her paw once, like a card, like a knife, and handed it to him.
Chapter's not done, Mender. Go get Fen.
Ben closed his hand on the tallow-stamped iron, still warm from a seller's pocket.
Everyone who can walk
He said,
walks now. We're expected.